I think, is in the NHL. Because there are guys that are just freaking again, I don't know shit about it. They seem to be really, really
From
good.
the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport. And driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pot on. Thank you for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Danny's in the house. Danny's got his own camera. Look at that. Kevin's got his own camera as he's watching the Rangers game. You got money on the Rangers game?
I have money on them winning the cup.
Okay. How much?
So I guess you have money on the game.
Not this game specifically. I think I stand to win 400 or 500 on
All right.
$5 bet.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And Greg Connor's in the house in his Team USA hat.
It's great to be here. Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup hat. Look at this. All set. All coming in. Getting warm after last night's, who was it, Luke Combs up at the stadium?
Yeah, it was a great show. It was freezing. It was absolutely freezing. And admittedly, I wimped out and was actually inside watching it, and I was cold inside watching him perform outside.
That's been the question. Why would they put a concert in Buffalo in April, other than the fact that it's 420?
I think that you're trying stuff. I mean, did they have another show a week ago or something? Or no?
They did one Friday night. He was Friday night and Saturday.
Yeah.
But that was brutal.
Yeah.
Are you going to drive golf balls there in the summer?
You mean, what do they call that? The upper deck golf?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right when training camp's going on, so I won't have that type of time.
Are they going to put the cut players out there and let you try to aim
that
them?
Would be
like the guy pick up the balls?
That would be
They're going to put Miami Dolphins players and Patriots players out in cutouts. You got to hit them. And they're moving targets.
Oh, so somebody's trying to get hit on another team in Buffalo.
Boy, there's all kinds of things going on with Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Right now, there's all kinds of rumors and things going on. And of course, we're in.
City just celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Yeah, we're in the in draft week, so there's all the rumors going on with the draft and will they move up and what receiver are they going to take and we'll get into all that stuff with Greg. Yesterday, I'm watching this thing yesterday. I go to a mud party. I had no idea what this was. It's mud trucks. So they go out. This guy has a huge piece of property. Every year he has a birthday party, and it's all his buddies come with their mud trucks. And you look at these trucks. It's a standard truck body on a jet. They look like monster trucks. All right. And
by the way, when you said you went to a mud party, that is not what I was thinking.
He's actually going to do some drywalling.
I wasn't thinking that either.
And then after you said that, you talk about it like his buddy brings over their trucks. It sounds like a bunch of kids in a freaking sandbox.
Yeah, right.
I brought over my trucks and we had a birthday party.
My Tonka truck.
That's what it sounds like, right? And so this guy I've gotten to know who is the head of the psychology department at St. John Fisher says to me, hey, I have some guys I grew up with. They're gearheads. They've got these trucks. They invite me every year to the birthday party. I don't go. I don't think my wife would have a good time. What do you think? Are you interested? I go, yeah, I'd love to check it out. So I did something kind of stupid. He goes, I'll have a cooler. I'm bringing beers. And I had gone Friday night real quick. I had met up with Foodie and some guys. And it was short, but I had like 3 or 4 beers. And I'm like, I think I need to cut back. So I bought non-alcoholic Guinness. We didn't drink it. We drank all the other shit. So I don't know why I even got it. But we get there.
It's the thought that counts.
Yes, it's the thought that counts. But I'm watching these guys, and you look at this, it's ridiculous. There are these giant trucks. You get in them, and you just tear through the mud. And it's a shit ton of fun. It's amazingly fun. And I'm watching this, and I go... And he even says to me, he goes, man, humans are so freaking weird and silly. And I have a theory. I swear to God, you have to find some way to be zen and give your mind a rest, or you find a hobby like this. Because when you're in the mud truck and you're tearing through that mud and the guy's driving, and I have a video that I haven't posted yet. His fiance is like kind of on my lap because we squeezed 4 people on this bench in the truck. And she's screaming and laughing. And I go, you can't think of anything else. You can't worry about, did I forget the milk? Did I pay this bill? It's the same thing as like racing a car. And I go, I think it's with golf with people. Like they get so focused on playing the game and being in the moment that I go, that's the great thing about hobbies. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm looking at this, I go, this is fucking ridiculous. They have to spend, I can't even imagine what it costs to run these things, just a tire alone. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Do they get stuck?
No, they didn't, but they have said that they've gone so rough through things that guys have flipped their trucks. Oh my God. And I got to think you need like a crane, Kevin, to put these back up on their wheels, because they're those giant trucks, right? I mean, some guy even fabricated basically a dune buggy, and he took that through there, and he was soaking wet. You know, I was soaked because you couldn't exactly close the window, so as the water's coming in, because they were steaming up because it was so cold outside.
Sounds like a blast.
It was a lot of fun, but I'm going, I swear to God, we find things that you can't think of anything else. Like, I try to meditate every day, and I know it sounds a little weird, but I like that, and sometimes you can really find yourself just, everything's kind of, and you're like, wow, that's cool. And I go, it's the same thing when I did the drag racing. You're going 120 miles an hour, you're not thinking, you may not even be breathing, you're just holding onto that wheel, trying to keep it straight, and when you slow down, every time I burst out laughing like it's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest adrenaline rush. And I was thinking of you, Greg. I'm like, Greg probably has that with, I don't know if it's golf or
everything he does.
Actually, for me, golf does not. It's hard for me because my mind races so much. I got so much on my mind. This is what I'm thinking.
Like, your mind needs a rest.
I get it. There are certain times I can do it, but it doesn't last very long because I'm a scatterbrain. Probably the thing that I get most in, where I zone everything out other than what I'm dealing with, is when I'm watching Bills games.
Okay, there you go.
And that's probably why I'm such a nut job around
or in court for all his potential clients.
He's
zoned in at court too.
Well, that's true. I mean, that is very true. But I'm saying outside of that, because that's such an intense preparation that when I just want to just let go and just have fun and let my mind not be so occupied. Right. Probably watching Bills games or tailgating for Penn State games. Those are the two things that I do that allow my mind to just focus on something other than work. I was thinking,
like all of us, like there are times you just can't turn it off. You can't turn off your brain, and that's the good thing. And I go, your mind needs a rest, so it almost seeks out these other things for you to do. Like, ooh, this would be a good idea. Yeah, because you can't think of anything else as you're doing it. And I don't know what that. Oh, do you have something like that, Danny, for you? Because your mind fucking goes all the time.
My wife,
you got thoughts, conspiracy theories. This one's coming to get you.
My wife even bought me a book called "Stop Overthinking," and I'm like, "Is this for you or for me?" But yeah, you have outlets. Like I have my exercise routine.
Oh, exercise is another one. That's I think like you're lifting. Or
I spend a lot of time praying in the morning.
Yeah.
I also try to create my own music. With my guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
Now that my band's ended, I can you know what? Screw everyone. I'm going to write my own stuff. Heard the new Pearl Jam album the other day. I was like, okay, I can do better than this. Picked up the guitar. That's what I do.
Kevin, what do you want to say to that? What do you want to say? I saw it. I saw you making face. I looked over at the camera. I saw the face.
I don't know what to say at this point. It just surprises me every week something.
But the weird thing is that I'm always working, though. After I'm done with work, I do more work for this other job, and then I'm doing stuff for the show, and then I'm doing other things. So it's like Tony Robbins, NET, no extra time. So from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're always doing something productive, whether it's for work or for yourself.
Yeah.
You're working on yourself. You're learning something. You're doing something. You're figuring something out. You're learning how to sell.
That's when I drink.
I was gonna say, Kev, what's yours? What's your thing that you go into Zen mode?
Probably just
hockey.
Hockey? Yeah. Really? Just watching? Oh, with the kids. Yeah. Where you're thinking nothing else. You're just watching them, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I won't. He doesn't listen, so thankfully he doesn't listen. But I'll never admit it to him. But he's better than I was when I was a kid. And I was.
Oh, Tyler?
I feel like I was pretty good.
Yeah.
I played with a lot of high end teams, and he's better.
Really?
It's sad.
Why won't you tell him that? Why wouldn't you tell
him that?
Why not?
Because I don't get a big head and start sucking.
No.
Well, it depends on the personality.
I don't think he'd get a big head.
My shot's still better. He's got.
Greg, would you tell? So if Luke goes to Alfred, right?
Yeah.
If he plays better than you, would you tell him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've told him. I mean, Luke has a lot more talent than I ever had, but he doesn't work as hard as I work, and I tell him that. I mean, he's got the talents, and it's like in anything in life. It all depends on what you're willing to put into it. Is what you're going to get out of it, and you know, you talk about praying and meditating. I can't even do that. I mean, because in my head, when I get quiet, it's when my mind is like a Rolodex. And it's just spinning, and it's like, what's there? And what I've learned over the last 6 months of my life is that certain challenges that happen in business and in my personal life is that I don't take the time to gather myself and think about things that I thought about the first 40 plus years of my life to do. You know, the thoughtfulness, the kindness, not just you know, to the attorneys, to the staff, to in my personal life, doing those little things. I didn't have the time because I was going morning till night, constant, nonstop, and I didn't think about those things. Right. And ultimately, it has a negative effect in terms of not only your business but also your personal life. And those are the things that you lose sight of. You got to have somebody in your life that tells you, dude, you got to freaking slow down. Take some time for yourself.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I remember the phrase that somebody said where, like, people who have somebody in their life, like a wife or a husband, live longer. Because there's somebody checking.
Well, that's because, checking, or maybe you go to the doctor.
My first wife didn't check me. She just yelled at me.
Yeah.
My wife now, Beth.
She checks on every other guy, though.
Oh. She did. Now she's on her third, I think. My wife,
Patrick.
now, I guess so. My wife now, like, though, is like kind of like, hey, you really want to, like, are you sure you want to do that? Hey, here, like gentle reminders of, like, you know, to keep you, like, focused.
Well, the other thing about partners and friends is it helps you prioritize.
Yes.
Right. And so I think when you're in a relationship and you prioritize that person, you live longer because you're enjoying yourself more. Right. Yes. You don't have that constant stress of going from 8 a.m. till 11 at night, and you have that burn. You take that time out. Yeah. But the problem is, and the advice I would give to anybody, Bill and I talked last year about different things. I've always had a tough time cutting that off. Yeah. And I need to do more of that. You know, some of my mentors now that are older in age and successful at their business, they're like, the thing that they wish they could do differently was have better balance. And you know,
I give up on work-life balance. I feel like there's no real such thing.
I feel like it's a pile of crap.
And I think you always
they want to tell you there's a work-life balance at work. I mean, well, they want you at work 24/7.
Well, work probably does, but I think that, you know, like Greg is an owner, and I've said this before, like if you want to be at every kid's hockey game, your boss should realize that and try to make the, you know, accommodations for that to happen, as long as you're getting your work done, and you're probably only going to earn X for somebody else who, you know, is going to be available 24/7 is going to make Y, right? But it's all, and that's your choice, and that's what makes you happy. It should be about happiness, which is not the way it is anymore at all.
Yeah. A lot of places. Yeah, for me, work, you know, like last night I'm at the Luke Combs concert, right? I mean, I was there with my office entertaining, hosting, and I was there.
Well, you love that stuff.
Well, so that's the part of it is, like, for me, that's part of my work-life balance is that we do those things for our staff and for our attorneys and for the people that we do work with, is to try to entertain, to build the relationship. But that is part of the work-life balance that I've inserted into my life because I love the energy. I love music. I love being active. Yeah. You know, so it's a matter of just making sure that we all figure out what that is in our life and then do that. And I always include my kids, right? I do charity events and I bring my kids with me. Will was at the concert last night. Right. You know, he comes in. They would go to galas and like Hunter's Hope events with me, and so I try to integrate that as much as possible, but it's still hard. It is tough.
Hard. Yeah, like I have a buddy whose wife is a prosecutor in Albany County. And
what did you think? I was waiting here, prostitute. That's what I heard.
Prosecutor.
She's a prostitute in Albany County, buddy.
And she's prosecuting. Well, she's prosecuting sex crimes. Yeah. And when I don't hear from him for like a couple months, and all of a sudden I'll hear from him. I go, "Oh, is your wife in trial mode this week?" He goes, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
That's the only time I hear from him. Because like when she's in trial mode, you can relate to being in trial. 90% of her focus is on the trial. He's got to take care of the kids.
Now I want to talk to this dude, and I don't know how honest he would be, but if she has to do sex crimes, like how would their sex life be if she sees all this trauma? You know what I'm saying?
Trauma.
To separate it. Sure. Like, right? That in some way.
You know that girl that went missing in
it's
that
camp?
It's
kind of like being an OBGYN, right?
Yeah.
you know that little girl that went missing at that camp and the guy left a note in the mailbox? Yeah. And they found it. Yeah. She had to prosecute.
Yeah. Talk about work-life balance. That job is... You know, so one of the things about work-life balance, got a little surprise for you guys. I'll I'll share with you, but not right now.
I know. I
But
want to tease this.
Part of that.
I want to drag it out.
That's it. That's, part of it is integrating certain things in life so that you can have fun. It's work, it's pleasure, it's family, it's friends, it's all that. And if you can do that, that's, for me, that's my happy place. Yeah. And then, the people that are around me enhance that for me. And those are the people that you want to have around you. And part of what I try to do when I do things is to try to integrate all that together.
I think that is probably the closest you're going to get to work-life balance.
Yeah.
Right? Integrate it all together, make it happen.
So buying... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. What?
No, I was like, so if you buy the Buffalo Bills, you can have it all.
Well, 25%.
It's only $750 to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Plus tax, title, and registration.
That's
sign and drive, Greg.
That's interesting.
I got $2,000 right now for you.
I always think like with work-life balance.
I'll own the kicker.
If you can try to keep it so it's fun, like Greg says, and you can get out and do things like I'm trying to do more and more and more with the podcast and build it. But I went and interviewed strippers on Friday. It was fun.
This past Friday.
Work-life balance.
Yeah.
So I was
balance.
I was at a state bar conference in Geneva.
Yes, and they called you.
And you were interviewing strippers.
Yes, it's how you go.
All right. There's
Will She Know is the name of the game.
How many boners up did you give the experience?
I was actually
where's the Tally Ho?
It's right East Henrietta Road. So as you go down
right in the corner of Jefferson.
Yeah, you take it right.
Behind that mobile station.
And I got to tell you, 12:30 on a Friday, that bar was filled.
Get out of here.
The bar was filled and they were auditioning a girl. They were to dance. And somebody went up and just threw dollar bills in the air, and they all came sprinkling down over. Yeah.
Do they have a row of judges sitting back there writing notes like the Olympics?
That's a great,
giving scores.
I think we should. I think we should try to be
the Olympics.
So, how long do you think it's been since I've been in a strip club?
I'm not a strip club guy, so I'm thinking you're like.
Story we want to hear from Tom.
I don't think any of us are.
I think you're like. I'm going to say 25 years. 20 years.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years.
Yeah. I don't like strip. I love talking to the people. I want to know why you want to be on that stage. What happened in your life that this is your outlet for something, for attention, clearly attention, right? Or to make money, or what is it empowering in some way? That sort of thing. Like we interviewed last week a woman who's on OnlyFans. She's in Chicago. And I loved it because as I'm asking her questions, she talks about the fact that she likes it because it's empowering for her. She's making money. She's doing. I mean, she told us
she's in control.
She's in control. That's it exactly. Where we'll talk about this later. Just how the world has changed. And Danny sent me a bunch of old commercials from back in the day. One is going to have Kevin on the floor. I can't wait to play this. Kevin. I thought of Kevin immediately. But it's just things we couldn't say today that you can. And it used to be like I even pulled a little promo for women who rated 10. Right?
Yeah.
You could never say that, right? You can't do that. But now it's like these women have the power. So is it okay to objectify women? No. But if they choose to be objectified and they want your attention, then it's okay.
Some people say I look like Janet Jackson, Billy. Looks more like Freddie Jackson.
Look, I tell my boys that women control the world.
Yeah.
Women control the world.
Yeah.
I think for me, going to a strip club is more like I would be more watching everybody else around.
Absolutely. When I
went to the Sabres game a couple months ago, it was two teams I could care less about. I was just watching the people around, just watching the interactions. I paid very little attention to the game.
You would have loved the Luke Combs concert last night then. There was a lot of interesting people.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was cold, so they were dressed like they were at a January Bills game.
I just love people. I love people
hilarious.
Watching. Like I love going to the mall on like the 23rd or 24th of December. Just sitting down, getting a big old box of pretzels and just watching the misery happen.
Well, yeah, I've said on the show, like the Saturday before Christmas, I go to Target and just watch women counsel each other in the aisles because they're all just miserable and depressed. Honey, it's not your fault. You're trying so hard. Go up another aisle. I know, the grandkids, you don't see them, do you? Your daughter-in-law is just a brat, isn't she?
What is
spoiled.
Sounds like a Thursday night at Thurston's.
It started with it started about 2017. I went to
Usually
get a present.
that conversation started at the club and they get kicked out. Yeah. Thursdays, that's what happens.
No,
That's true.
I was going to get presents for my nieces and nephews at Target the Saturday before Christmas, and I hadn't gotten anything yet. And I'm watching all these women just like crying in each other's arms. So I'm like, I got to make this an annual thing.
That's too funny.
And it's hilarious. I even brought my wife one year. She was like, wow, you're not kidding.
Greg has a major, well, I don't know if we say major announcement, a big announcement. And so we were all guessing. We've been guessing and guessing. We thought, I have a theory. I have one. So what we'll do is we'll have everybody say what they think it is, and then we'll find out what it actually is. This is big.
Yeah, sounds good.
Now, I'm very excited about this because I have one that I'm hoping it is, and Kevin had a great one.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, he already told you?
He shared it.
He did share it?
Yeah.
He's been trying to find out.
His Make-A-Wish.
Kevin's been trying to figure this out for a while. So we will get to that next. But first,
did you get the invite for Mulconnery's is having their anniversary this Wednesday?
Yeah.
Are you going?